to episode 13 of Kitten Knittin. I am Heather, and you can find me on Twitter, Ravelry, and Instagram as SpaceKitten3000.
And I am Chelsea. You can find me at a new place now at Gal Knits Yarn on Ravelry and Instagram. I am still Gallialvia on Twitter. I haven't quite figured out how to change it there yet. I think you have to get on the computer to do that, and I do everything from my phone anyway. So
yeah, I think most people do probably.
I think so, but it is now at Gal Knits Yarn. If you're already following me, you should know, or you should have seen the change already. But if you are not following me, that is where you can find me now. I figured that would be a little easier to find than my previous username.
But like we said, this is episode 13. Welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, hello.
Hi.
Good to see you. And if you're a first-time viewer, hi. Nice to meet you. And we hope you enjoy your time spent with us.
Absolutely.
So we have FOs galore.
We do.
This episode. We have been knitting machines.
We have been.
Like.
We've been hauling.
Yeah.
We've been hauling.
We have done really good. So we have a lot of FOs to show you, and of course whips and Q and all that good stuff. So it's been 4 weeks since we
I think so. I was sick last week, and so we just kind of decided to forego recording. We talked about it. We really talked about it, but I was just under the weather, and
our husbands were using the lights, and the lighting in this room, because again we're at my house, the lighting in this room was just not gonna cut it. So we figured that it would be better to wait until this week to hang out again.
Yep.
So now we are, and we have more things finished than we would have last week. I almost said last year. Last week.
That too.
And yeah, it's almost. But yeah, we're really excited. So should we start with FOs? Or what should we haven't even gone over this beforehand.
No.
It was kind of like we knew we were recording today, but plans kind of changed. So
things you're kind of getting us thrown a bit together here.
Yeah.
I was with family earlier today, and kind of, it doesn't matter, but I don't have all of my stuff here.
And then when they got to my house, my brother and nephew were leaving as they were coming in, and I was still trying to straighten my hair, and I was still in my pajamas, and so that's how the day's gone.
Family stuff every which way, so we're kind of thrown together today, but bear with us. But yeah, let's start off with our FOs.
Okay.
Go ahead and start us off.
Okay. Well, last time we were together, both of us almost had our, we were doing the Sockhead hat by Kelly McClure for the hat along that Strings and More were hosting. And I think the day that we recorded, or the day after we recorded our last episode, we both finished our hats.
Yeah.
So this is my finished hat. I've had this finished for a while. I've worn it. It is exactly what I wanted. Stick it in my bag. I take it out. It's been really rainy lately, so that's been really handy. And yeah, I love it. It's lamb strings yarn in the Leaky Cauldron colorway. And it's her Tra-La-La sock yarn. And I love it. I love this hat. I didn't block it. I didn't think there was even a reason to block it, because it's just... I just love it. I love this hat so much. So that's my first FO.
It turned out really pretty.
I just am thrilled with it. I love the yarn. I love the pattern. I want to make another Sockhead hat. I have no idea what color I would want to do, but I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You love knitting.
Stockinette.
Stockinette, yeah.
I love knitting. I think we talked about this last time. I love knitting stockinette in the round. And this, I didn't even make it as long as the pattern called for. Yeah. I didn't go as long. And, but yeah, I can just do it forever.
Yeah.
I can just do it and do it. And I love the result.
So I finished my Sockhead hat also. That is one of the things that got left behind in my kind of crazy plan change this morning. So it is done. Excuse me. I've still kind of got a bit of a residual
still recovering.
Cough. But I will put a picture of that somewhere, a picture of my finished hat somewhere around here. And the yarn is by the Lemonade Shop. It is in their Rainbow Dream colorway, which Kitten got for me. I really do like the way it knit up. It's perfect for knitting. Doing stockinette in the round, any of those colorways that has the little pop of rainbow is just perfect for
And you put a picture on your Instagram too, right?
Did I?
I think maybe.
I don't remember if I put a finished.
There's definitely one on Ravelry though.
On there. Yeah, there is one on Ravelry, but I'll put a picture of it, say somewhere in here as well. That way you guys get an idea of what it looks like now.
Yeah, it's really cute though.
Yeah. No, the Sockhead hat is a perfect go-to and say now that it's getting cooler. I've worn it a couple of times.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah. And I guess we probably need to take pictures like next time in our Sockhead hats.
I love it.
Post it.
I know you don't enjoy stockinette in the round as much because it can be a bit boring.
No, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to another one of my FOs.
But it is a great hat.
It's a great hat. It is just a great go-to pull-out, hat. I love that, and I love my Butter Mellow hat. Those are my two. Of course, I've knitted a couple more hats, but those are my two go-to just pull hats. Out and away we go. But yeah,
awesome.
Yep. So that's our first FO. You finished some socks, Kitten.
I did. I finally finished. Did I have one done last time?
I can't recall.
I don't remember. But I finished my stripy socks.
That's true.
They're cute. I haven't worn them because I wanted them to look all nice and pretty and not stretched out.
We're having trouble with words.
Yeah, apparently. That might be because I've consumed wine. But, no, it couldn't be. Yes, I didn't want to stretch them out because I wanted them to look all pretty. They're already blocked and everything. I just took them off the blockers. But this yarn is Mustache Yarn self-striping in the Koi Pond colorway. And it's the first time I did a afterthought heel because I don't know what other type of heel you use on self-striping yarn because I know you can't, if you do a heel flap and gusset, which is the only other sock I've ever done, it won't stripe right. So I did the afterthought heel and it was fine. It was easy. But on my first one, when I didn't pick up stitches on the ends, I didn't do a good job of that. So there were some holes that I had to stitch up after the fact. It was no big deal. So I was just more mindful of that on the second one, and I did a better job on the second one. It still wasn't perfect, but I only had to stitch up a little gap on one side. And so I just have to figure out how I do that better if I do it again. And that's a big if because I don't like the fit of the afterthought. See,
afterthought.
Afterthought. I don't like the fit of the afterthought heel as much as I like the fit of the heel flap and gusset.
Yeah.
So I don't think this will at all be my go-to heel. I just don't like the way it fits as well. But I know how to do it now, and that's good because I do like self-striping yarn. It was fun to do. And I think I will do self-striping yarn again because there's so many pretty colorways and stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, as far as, and I actually like the look of the heel flap and gusset better too than the afterthought. I don't know. I just like the.
Oh, I like it, but I really like the way it looks with that stripe.
Yeah. But it definitely doesn't fit my heel as well. And I know you can kind of, I can't remember I actually have it in my notes, which are in my lap. I used for the afterthought heel, I used the pattern by Linneman. And basically I just did vanilla sock and then used her pattern because I didn't know how to do the heel. And I just followed her directions exactly, but she does say, keep doing this if you want a longer heel or things like that. So maybe that could be something. I don't know
if you guys can see this or not. Look at that tension that she's got in there. It's beautiful.
Aw, thanks.
It's beautiful. And she uses double pointed needles, whereas I like to use the magic loop on mine. I just have a difficult time with DPNs. They're
fiddly sometimes.
They're fiddly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I will talk about in another project.
But yeah, those look really good.
Thank you. But all in all, I'm really glad I did the afterthought heel, and I'll use it if I do it again. I might just play with making it deeper for my heel. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I'm glad to have these socks, and they're cute. So.
And I have finally finished my first pair of socks, you guys.
Yay!
Yay!
Because we did was it in the month of March?
It was in the month of March that we did our knit along, and as we talked about in the last podcast, just plain stockinette knitting does nothing for me. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit of a slog for me, although I am considering doing vanilla socks again.
Okay. I saw you post this. She posted a thing on her Instagram stories today, which I know you won't be able to access once you see this. Out. But she did an Instagram story poll of, she wound her yarn, and you're like, should I do vanilla or Aster?
The Aster socks by Jacqueline Salem.
And I voted Aster because I know she didn't like the plain vanilla sock because she was getting bored. And I was like, wait, are you rethinking what you want? I'm rethinking
what I'm wanting. I still want to do the Aster socks. I think they're so cute. But I realized that if I have everything having a pattern, if I have all of my knitwear with patterns in them, I'm not going to be able to have anything on the go anymore.
Yeah.
And I do like having something in my bag, even if it's just to kind of pick up and fiddle with a little bit. I like having something in my purse to kind of go to and just sit there and knit up.
That's thoughtless, that you don't have to pay attention to a pattern or anything.
Exactly, because I don't mind putting vanilla socks back in their bag if I've only done 5 stitches and somebody calls my name and I have to go into a meeting, whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't mind that, but if you're sitting there in the middle of a pattern, I have the roughest time keeping track of where I am in patterns if I don't write explicitly where I am. And there again, if your name gets called, you have to go up. Whatever it is you're getting interrupted with, you can't necessarily stop what you're doing and go on about your business. So I am kind of thinking about doing vanilla socks. And that's part of our acquisitions, which I'll let Kitten show you a bit later, is in the stories. I did wind my yarn this morning, but I got some beautiful fall yarn by Malabrigo. It is in
it's their sock yarn in Primavera.
Mm-hmm. It's in the Primavera colorway.
We got the same one.
We got the same one because we both fell in love with it we
were together and we went to a yarn store and we both we were wanting some fall yarn, so we got the same thing.
Yeah. So, kind of throw a little bit of an acquisition there, but we'll show it to you later. But yeah, so I'm considering doing vanilla socks again, just so I have something to work on. Mm-hmm. It will take me forever to finish them again.
As long as you're okay with that, though, it doesn't matter.
I don't know that I'm not okay with it.
Exactly. If you're not trying to hit a deadline, or if you don't mind them taking a bit longer and only knitting on them in certain occasions and certain situations, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it really didn't bother me, honestly, that I had those socks on. I mean, it did bother me that I had those socks on my needles for so long, but I couldn't quite figure out why it bothered me. And it was just a representation of things not being worked on. But that's the wrong way to look at it, because I was working on it whenever I was sitting down.
And it's really good for social situations too.
Exactly. And so I think that's really what I need, is something like the vanilla sock to be able to do that. And I don't think I fully appreciated the vanilla sock when I had it.
Oh, well, luckily there's more vanilla and you can try it again.
Exactly. So that is why we have that whole thing going on. Mm-hmm. But my socks are finished. A picture will go up because those are one of the things that I left behind, but I finished them when I was over here at Kitten's house last weekend, and you can find a picture of them on Instagram, which I'll just use the same picture again. But you'll notice that they've got 2 different colored heels. And that was because the first one without the colored heel, I was still learning the gusset and flap and everything like that. And so I didn't really feel comfortable enough changing my yarn at that point. Mm-hmm. And then I just decided, once I had constructed it the first time, to go ahead and try it the second time. And, the second time was just a breeze to switch out that yarn and everything. And
they still match, because the colors are the same. You're using the same yarns. It's just one has a different color.
Yeah. And the colorways are, Visceral. I wrote viscera on one. It's visceral and wrath. But yeah, I miss
from Lamb
Strings Yarn, of the Strings and More podcast, Lamb Strings Yarn. And I enjoyed working with the yarn. It split a little bit, but it was still, I've discovered sock yarn is a bit finicky with me. Like I'm a little persnickety, and I think some of it has to do with the needles that I'm using are very sharp, and so it tends to
so it splits it a
little bit more. But it's just, I'm still learning. I'm still learning as I go through this process, and learning what I like, learning what I need to do to kind of work around some of those issues. But so that's why you see the two different colors, and but the toe is still the same color as the heel and everything. I do have enough yarn if I wanted to make a matching sock. I probably could. I don't know that I will. I don't know. Maybe that's the vanilla sock I need to do, and the aster socks for the other.
If you care about them matching. It's only if you care if they match. I don't think I would care.
But, okay, so here's the deal. And I don't know what I did wrong on the second sock. The sock that has the mismatched heel and everything like that, or the whatever you want to call that, contrast heel. It is a little tight around the cuff.
I could actually tell in the picture that you took.
Yeah.
That one was
stretched out a little bit more.
Stretched out more. Yeah. And you tried both of them on because the second one you finished, you put it on at my house. Yeah. So you had put it on your foot already when you, before you took the picture. Yeah,
exactly. So, it doesn't quite fit right. I can get it over my heel. It's a bit of a snug fit, but, there again,
it's interesting. Unless your gauge changed from the time
I think it did.
You finished the first one.
I think I am knitting tighter because I'm knitting more true, I guess I should say.
Well, could it be because didn't you have to tighten your gauge on your What the Fade?
Yes.
So maybe because you worked so much on the What the Fade and you got used to knitting in that gauge, by the time you got to the second sock, you were just a tighter knitter.
I think that's exactly what happened because I think that's happened across all of my knitting. I'm just a tighter knitter now because I used to be a very loose knitter. And I do feel I'm a tighter knitter now. And I think it's more consistent. My knitting style is more consistent because I am a tighter knitter. I'm not a tight knitter. I'm probably I don't know what I'm looking for.
Middle?
I don't know. It's just my gauge seems to be pretty consistent.
It's tighter than it was, and it's more consistent.
It is more consistent
throughout because I think
I don't know that I'm a tight knitter, but I am tighter than what I used to be because I used to be a loose knitter.
If I remember correctly, on the What the Fade, your gauge changed a little when you were knitting that too, didn't it?
Yes.
From one section to the other.
Well, because I had to rip out the entire garter section and redo it because my gauge was so loose during the brioche. By the time I got to the garter section, it was just way too different. And so I had to rip out that whole garter section that I had done and redo it all. So that's when that changed. And I was just going, you know what, maybe I need to just tighten everything up because I'm having problems across several projects with my gauge being too loose, my knitting being too loose. So I think I tightened everything up and I feel like it's more consistent now.
Sure.
I hope that's the case. I feel like maybe I need to make another sock. Maybe that's what I need to do is do another sock in those and test it.
Yeah.
In the previous colorway.
Yeah.
And test it out and see if that's the case.
I will say that
before I use that yarn.
This is kind of we're not done with FOs yet, but I am working on a sock right now that I will talk about in the whip section. But I increased my stitch count for this time. Because on these I tried them on and they fit. They're a little more they're more snug than I would like, but they fit fine. So I actually increased my stitch count on the next pair that I'm working on, and we'll see. I mean, I don't care. I don't wear, it's kind of weird. I don't wear socks a lot. Like, I wear them around the house. That's when I wear the majority of my socks, or if I'm wearing boots. But if I'm wearing, like, tennis shoes or something, I never wear socks. So if the new socks I'm working on end up being a little looser, that's fine because I'll just wear them around the house. I don't care.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did change my stitch count from the previous socks that I have knitted.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Sock talk. We
Sock
had sock talk. Grocery girl reference there a little bit, but had a sock talk.
Yep.
So
yeah, it might just be maybe you just need to increase your stitch count on the next pair.
Maybe.
To account for your tighter knitting, you just increase it even if it's by like 2 or whatever.
Well,
because I increased mine by 4.
What I'll probably do is remeasure my leg, make sure that I'm doing the right one to begin with, and then I'll probably re-gauge swatch is probably what I'll do, is redo my gauge swatch and just kind of see if that's what changed before I really knit.
You were doing 56 on a size 0?
1.
Okay.
Oh, I can't remember now. I know that I've got the needles.
I know we
together.
were doing the same stitch count, but I think we were doing a different needle size.
Maybe I am doing a 0 and I bought the ones accidentally thinking I was on a 1. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. So I bought some double pointed needles the other day thinking that I was using 1s, and then I looked at my needles that I was currently on and I was using 0s. So I bought the wrong size needle thinking that I was up a size. Maybe what I need to do is increase it to those 1s and use those 1s and see if I like that.
Because I was doing a 56 on size 1s, and on this new pair, I increased to 60 on size 1.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit real quick while we're talking about...
Feet. I mean, they're not this wide, but I have wide feet, so she doesn't have wide feet, so
I got little feet.
It might...
Oh, I've got wide feet, actually.
Do you?
I've got wide feet.
She has
They're just
way
short.
smaller feet than I do.
They're just short.
I'm an 8.5, so...
Yeah, I'm a 6.5 to a 7 for the most part. But I am going to tell you, so as you guys know, I bought a bunch of different needles to try. I bought the Chow Goose Shorties, and I used the 9-inch, or used the 5-inch diameter cable or 5-inch cable to make the 9-inch circulars. I tried using the 9-inch circulars. I did not find them comfortable, so I went back to Magic Loop. And so now I bought some metal double pointed needles to try those as well, because my problem with the double pointeds was they're so flimsy a lot of times, the wood ones. I've already snapped one.
I snapped one.
Yep. Yeah, we'll let her tell her story in a minute. Because I know you've got a story to tell. But so I've snapped one, and that's why I went ahead and got the metal needles to see if maybe that felt good in my hands and give the double pointed a try again. I do really like working with metal needles, I've decided. Less so the wood needles as I've gone on. Just that is what I'm drawn to. It feels better for me, the glide of the yarn off of those metal needles. So I'm going to try the metal needles on sock yarn. That's a whole other story. I don't know if I'm going to like it on sock yarn double pointeds, but I am using metal needles in my circular needles, so I will probably like them. Yeah. So that's kind of my foray into needles. Yeah,
I broke one. But it was to do those stripy socks, and luckily I was using the Knit Picks double pointed needles, and they come in a pack of 6, so I had a spare. But yeah, I just was going along and snap. I mean, it just broke. Yeah. But like I said, luckily they come with 6, so I had a spare. But if I broke another one, I would be...
That'd be great.
Yep.
So do you like whenever because I know you've worked with both metal and wood, not necessarily for socks, but do you find you enjoy the wood more as you're working, or do you think metal? Well,
I used metal for the Sockhead hat. I had a 16-inch circular Chai-Gu, and I loved it. I've used metal, and I will talk about this in a whip, but I'm using metal and I'm having some trouble, but it's on a larger size needle. I'm using a size 4.
Okay.
And they're too heavy.
Okay.
Because I'm using fingering weight yarn, but it calls for a size 4 needle, and I only had metal ones. And it's heavy, and I hate it. And so I was going to go to my local yarn store yesterday and buy some wood, size 4, but then we didn't get there in time because it closed at 4 and I thought it closed at 5.
Oh.
So then I was like, okay, I'll just go to Michael's, and they have bamboo needles, and I forget the brand, but it's the brand in the green package that, Michael's has. And so I went and I got some, and I came home and I was going to start replacing the metal ones I'm using with the bamboo, and realized I got 4mm needles.
Oh.
Which are a size 6.
Yeah.
US. So I'm still using metal needles.
Yeah.
I have not used metal needles on a sock, so I have no idea how I would feel about them.
Yeah.
Since the needles will be smaller, I might not have the weight problem, but I definitely hate how heavy the metal needles are with fingering yarn.
Interesting.
It also might be the kind of metal needles I'm using, because I'm just using ones from Hobby Lobby that I got probably 10 years ago.
Like those boys or something like that?
I mean, they are so they might be heavier than nice metal needles that I would buy now, that I didn't know about that stuff back then. So,
could also be the play in your cable might make it feel more weighty too.
Well, and I'm using, fingering weight yarn, and it's single ply, and it's also very slippery. So it could just be the perfect combination of things to annoy me.
Yeah.
It could be that the yarn is slippery and the needles being metal and being maybe heavier are just making it not enjoyable.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
But I loved using the metal needles on the hat. I had no problem whatsoever with the needles for the hat. I would love to at some point get a set of the lace needles by Chaigu. I would love it because the cables are wonderful. I mean, you guys all know. I mean, the cables are wonderful. They have a beautiful point, and
that's what I use.
So I would like at some point to go ahead and get those. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a quality difference.
You're still trying.
Yeah, and I'm
things
sure
out.
the nicer metal needles are not going to be like my $3 Hobby Lobby needles that I'm using right now that I hate and I will not be using ever again after this.
Sure.
So
the more you wear it, it's amazing what your tools. The tools really make a difference, and I will talk about that in a minute as well.
I know, we keep foreshadowing all these things we're going to talk about. Well, I'll get on to my next whip. Or no, FO. Because I have 2 more.
We still have FOs, guys.
So I will go to another hat. And I have not blocked this one, and this one definitely needs to be blocked. But I have not blocked it yet. But it is the Chevy hat by Andrea Mowry. And you can probably see, maybe, you can see
put your hand through it.
The chevron pattern here. Yeah.
There you go.
So yes. I had talked last time about wanting to cast on something for Yonder Woman's Read Along. And in that podcast, I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to finish it in the amount of time, or before the end of the month, basically. And she was kind enough to let me know after watching our podcast. She was kind enough to say, hey, you don't have to have it finished. You just have to have it cast on and, in that time. And so that was really sweet of her to let me know that. And so I went ahead and cast on this hat. And I already had the yarn. It's Malabrigo Reyes in the service. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, you're like me with French. It's
See, I took 3 years of French, so I know French.
It's the Rios yarn in the
Cerveza. I don't know. I don't have the tag.
I think it's Cereza.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a beautiful red, and I was concerned because I don't wear red a lot, but I actually bought this sweater so I could wear it with this hat because I don't actually have a lot of red. But this yarn has a bit of black mixed in with it. I don't know. It's really, really pretty, and I do think I'll wear it, and it's cute. Like I said, this one does need a blocking.
Doesn't it look cute with her sweatshirt, guys?
I know. I bought this sweatshirt specifically to wear with this hat.
Did you really?
I did. I was like, hey, well, I liked it,
like
and I was like,
shoes.
that's cute.
I used to do that with shoes
I was
all
like,
the time.
and I need something red, so I'll buy this shirt.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'm gonna block it. I didn't really know how to block a hat, so I asked Gal, and she's like, do a balloon. I was like, okay, but I don't have balloons. So, but yeah, so I did get this. I think I ended up getting this done like the first week of October, so I wasn't too, but I was able to get it entered into the read along, and then I finished it pretty quickly, and I like it, and I think I'll wear it. And Malabrigo yarn is a joy to work with. This was really nice to work with. It has really good stitch definition, which I think was good for this pattern because there's actually not just the zigzags, but there's a difference between the zigzags and your stitch pattern. So yeah, and it's Andrea Mowry, and you know her patterns are good. This is the first Andrea Mowry I've done, but her patterns are popular for a reason.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have another hat.
Okay. Go ahead and do yours because mine, I've got to talk about mine. Okay.
So my next one is the most recent finish, and it's the Close to You shawl by Justyna Lorkowska. And this is with the Hooker's Corner yarn in her fingering in the Gilbert Blythe colorway. That's and really I wore this yesterday, and I really enjoyed wearing it. And it's so pretty. I really, really like it. You can kind of go as long as you want. Like, you could keep going with it and make it as long as you wanted. I did as long as the pattern called for because I didn't want it to be too big because I thought it would be cute with like t-shirts that had something on it, and that way you could still see the picture or whatever.
You're really good about thinking about those things.
Well, I actually wore, that's what I did yesterday is I wore a t-shirt that had like a UFO on it, and then I wore this with it and you could still see like the picture. But I think it's a beautiful knit. I think it shows off this yarn really well. I think that this lovely, very simple pattern does a great, like, I think it looks fancier than the I don't know. I think the payoff is really good. Like, I think it looks very pretty, and it's a very simple knit. It's so nice, and it's easy to memorize. But I think I'll wear this a lot. I really like the colors, and I think I did a good length with it, and yeah, I just really like it. So I could see myself maybe making another one of these because I really enjoyed the knit, and I just think the payoff is really good for how simple the pattern is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I wore it yesterday, and I got a compliment on it, so that's always really nice. The first time you wear something to, like, somebody to comment on it. So,
for sure.
So, yeah, that's my last FO. So, you have a very...
Oh, my gosh, you guys.
You have been working on this for...
2 years.
And ever and ever. And
2 years.
I'm so glad you've finished it.
So this is the long weekend cardigan by Knitspirations. Caddy Melville Ledbetter does the class on Craftsy for it. So I don't know who actually wrote the pattern, but there you have it. This was the first garment that I ever started working on. And there again, my gauge was like...
You still have your stitch marker on
I did that intentionally.
Oh, okay.
I did do that intentionally.
I'm glad I didn't just take it off then, because I almost did.
But this was the first garment I started working on, so my gauge there again was a little loose. I kind of fudged my gauge a little bit. So I think my gauge is big in the first place. And I'm not going to be able to show you this full thing.
You can stand on the bed if you want.
That would look great. It's supposed to go down to probably about your knees. Mm-hmm. You guys, it goes down to my shins. It is so
it's almost ankle
stinking
lengths.
Long. It is like a bathrobe. It is so long on me. And so, I mean, you can tell, like, look at this business here. It's so big and loose.
Her arms are not like that big.
Grandpa sweater on me. And I will wear this around the house just as like a comfy kind of go-to because I put way too much work and time and sweat and tears and cursing and crying into this. But
and you did say that you wore it and it's very cozy.
It is very cozy. I did wear it. It is a very cozy knit. I used the Peyton's yarn that was recommended for the pattern.
Is it worsted?
It is worsted weight.
So it's going to be warm too then.
Yeah, exactly. It is a worsted weight. It is 100% merino. In the peacock colorway. And I will tell you where I was when we last talked about this in the last podcast a month ago. I had finished one sleeve and I had started on the second. So I had started down here and I had gotten to this little stitch marker. So I had the front and the back done, one sleeve done. And you guys, I did all of the second sleeve. And I had to do the 2 pockets down here. And I had to do the rib band from my ankle up around to my other ankle. I have done all of that in the span of the last month and still worked on other things. I pretty much worked on this monogamously just because I was to the point I wanted it off my needles. I wanted to get it done. I didn't realize what a slog it was going to be because there is seaming on this. Let me take this back off.
Which I told her that she's going to have to give me lessons in seaming next time I do something because she's gotten lots of practice and I'm not so good at it.
There is a lot of seaming on this, guys, and it turned
really
out
good.
Beautifully. Like, I really like the way it looks on this. I think it really depends on your pattern, what it turns out to look like.
And what your pattern is like and stuff like
exactly,
that.
Exactly. But it turned out beautifully. It's just super huge. I will never probably wear this out in public. I will just wear this in the car. I will wear this in my
I told her she just needed to go ahead and do little belt loops and do
just
a
make
belt
it a bathrobe.
and just make it like a super cozy blanket bathrobe.
Yeah. Just give it up for lost.
That's the size it is. Because how tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Yeah, and it goes, I would say it's almost
to my
like
ankle.
this much away from being ankle length.
Yeah.
And probably at least 2 to 3 sizes too big for her.
So, and I don't have the pattern with me, but I can't remember what the positive ease was on this. I'm wanting to say it was like 6 to 7 inches or something like that, a positive ease. And I didn't know how to kind of add your positive ease, subtract your positive ease from your finished bust the way you wanted it to look.
Yeah, it was one of your first projects.
Exactly.
So it was a lot of learning stuff.
Exactly.
And
so it ended up, I made it a lot bigger than what it needed to be, but I'll still use it. And I ended up actually having to buy more balls of wool, which is also why I think my gauge was off because I shouldn't have had to buy more balls of wool than I did.
Because the class, part of your class fee was...
No.
Oh, okay. I thought the part of the fee was the wool. Okay.
No, I bought that separate.
Right. Don't listen to me.
No, I bought that separate.
Okay.
But okay, so the neckband is I'm not. I'll just go ahead and tell you about the neckband. I know a lot of people.
Tell us about the neckband.
Let me tell you about the neckband.
Yeah, I got some pictures of the neckband.
It is a rib.
This process.
And I have discovered that ribbing is like my stockinette.
You like it, yeah.
I actually really enjoy working just that little bit of difference.
Just that purling action.
Just that purling action between the knit and purl. That is actually my kind of go-to numb out. Like, knitting is just too much mindless. Whereas the the ribbing has just enough of an interest for me to not completely lose what I'm doing, but it kind of gives me enough interest to keeps my interest.
Which that kind of reminds me, several months ago on Yarnder Woman's podcast, she did socks that were a twisted rib the whole way, and you actually didn't do a heel because of the way the rib was. They would stay up.
Okay.
So, and I don't remember, I can probably go and find that and link that, but that might be something as far as socks, because you can do, I think it was some kind of twisted rib, and you just do it the whole way, and you don't have to do, like I said, you don't have to do the heel, because the way the rib is, it won't fall down.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something.
Maybe.
You would be interested in.
Maybe.
Nothing else, Legwarmers, I guess.
Yeah. So I found where my minimum interest lies, and that's in ribbing. I really do.
You need
enjoy
those
ribbing.
pearl stitches.
I need those pearl stitches.
Which for me, the pearl stitches can just go away and not come back.
I was thinking about that earlier today because I'll go ahead and move into whips here real quick.
Well, is there anything else you want to say about this? You done?
It's done.
It's done.
It's done. I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I was like, the main thing is that's not going to be in the back of your mind the whole time you're working on things. Exactly. Is that one's done. You can check it off your list and you can just move on.
Well, and it took up a whole big bag. And
yeah.
Like a really big bag. And I was having to lug that thing everywhere I was going. And that wasn't very fun. I mean, it was a big, beach bag. It was specifically a beach bag, and I was having to lug it everywhere with this stuff in it. So I'm kind of glad that that's beyond me. But this was the colorway that I dyed here not too terribly long ago
when you did
with Amanda Jarvis of Miss Crosby Loves to Play in Lorna's Laces. This was my colorway in the carpet bag base, and I have started the
Age of Steam and Brass?
Yep, the Age of Brass and Steam kerchief. Close. And this is by Orange Flower Yarn. It is a free knitting pattern. So I'm not going to spoil anything whenever I say one side is basically knit and the other side is basically purl with a little bit of interest in the midst of it. There is a bit of a...
So the pattern says you can do DK or worsted. So is that worsted?
I believe this is DK.
Okay.
This is a DK, it's light worsted. And that's why I went ahead and got that pattern, it was something for a DK weight. I started this morning, so I managed to get quite a bit done.
I could not believe that when you told me you had started in when you started it this morning.
Yeah.
So when you were driving, she had a long drive this morning for a family thing.
Yeah.
Were you driving or was Caleb driving?
Caleb drove there. I drove back.
Were you knitting?
I was knitting.
There? Okay.
I was knitting. So I did get some knit time in, and I actually woke up pretty early this morning because I went to bed early last night.
Yeah, I texted her last night and she was already in bed. And then she texted me this morning at 5:30 and I was not awake.
Still in bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I discovered today whenever I was having to do the stockinette sections, the purl side of these sections, I don't mind purling anymore. There was a time when Kitten and I used to say expletive pearls. Expletive pearls.
I still feel that way.
And now it's just like, oh, I don't mind purling anymore because I knit continental. Kitten knits throwing. She knits English. And just that little bit of moving my finger for the pearls
is enough.
It just sets it up and it's enough movement and I don't mind. It's enough interest. So yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember we used to hate purling and now it doesn't bother me.
Well, we both did the sweater that's called a no purl sweater for that.
For a reason.
Yeah. But yeah, this is really pretty. I like it. It's very soft too.
Thank you.
What is the fiber content?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
It feels very soft.
Yeah.
Can't see what we're doing.
I will tell you,
it's
really sticky on the metal needles.
Oh, yeah.
It's really sticky on the metal needles. It just does not like to move at all.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it would be like on, I know you guys can't see this, but on wood, that would just be terrible. I mean, it's got a little bit more movement in it now that I've gotten it further on down. But whenever I first started this guy, it did not want to move off my needles. It was terrible. But that's where I am on.
And this is just a one skein project, right?
Yeah.
So this will be a pretty quick
it was like a
thing.
Approximately 230 yards. Yeah. So it'll be a pretty quick thing. I'm almost to, I know you can't see it. I'll put a picture of it somewhere. I'm almost to the second section of the pattern. And then I'll have to do a little bit more and then the third section of the pattern. So
it'll be pretty quick though, because it's only a 1-page pattern and you're using DK.
It's a 2-page pattern.
Oh, she double-sided it.
I double-side things. I like to save trees.
Yeah.
I use trees, but I like to save trees.
Makes me feel bad.
No, I can, so I do. I just don't like, I really, it's self-serving because I don't like carting around a bunch of pieces of paper.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so As my husband would say, I love queso.
I love queso.
And I hate when he says it. Yeah.
I said that to Caleb earlier today.
It's because of Nick, I'm
It's
sure.
because of Nick.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and talk about the thing I'm knitting on my metal needles. And I started this so long ago. I'll go ahead and show you the finished one. Here it is.
Yeah.
These are the Prima Legwarmers by the Sexy Knitter. And they're pretty. You can't probably, there, that's better. But they actually go this way. The big rib is at the top. I think I started these last year. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot about them. They kind of have this. But anyway, so I had one done for a long, long time. I didn't enjoy knitting them, and it's not because of the pattern. The pattern's really easy to read. It's really easy to do. It's not a hard pattern. It's because of these metal needles, I think.
Oh.
So these are the metal needles I was talking about. I went ahead and picked it up because I kind of just wanted to I already had one done, and I didn't even knit it as long as it said because I was wanting to wear them with shorty boots, so I didn't need them real tall anyway. So I have like the cuff. I have the cuff almost done. I need 4 inches. I think I'm at about 3 to 3.5. And I'm using Dream in Color Jilly, and that's all I remember. I don't have the tag anymore. I don't remember what the colorway was. Nothing. It's single ply, which is not my favorite, but I didn't know that at the time I bought this.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure I bought this with my birthday gift card from my husband, and my birthday was in December.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I went ahead and picked them up because I wanted to finish them. I already had one finished. And it's becoming boot weather in Oklahoma. So I wanted to go ahead and do it. And these were the needles I was going to try to replace. They're just a bit heavy. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Something about this combo of yarn and needle is not conducive to my knitting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the yarn is just too slippery, because I remember being annoyed when I did this one, and that's why I didn't immediately do the second one. So I'm just going to do it. It's fine, but these needles are heavy. Feel that, though. That's heavy to hold for fingering weight, I think. Or am I being crazy?
Excuse me.
Coughing. I feel like it's
too
heavy.
bad. No.
Maybe I'm crazy.
But I think part of it has to do with the fact that you've got needles going every which direction.
No, that's fine. I always have this. I'm used to that. You okay?
Sorry about that, guys. I had a coughing fit and needed to refill.
Yes. So, Gal says these metal needles are not that heavy, so maybe I'm just a baby. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that the yarn and the needle combo isn't working.
Well, or maybe it's that I'm used to having a cable kind of running through anything, and so it automatically kind of gives you a little bit of extra oomph.
I don't know what it is, but anyway, these needles,
not her
cheap.
favorite.
They're cheap. They're fine. I actually have 4, and then I found the 5th one the other day, like 2 days ago, and I was like, I'll just do it with 3. But anyway, Prima Legwarmers. This yarn is very, very pretty. Like, I don't have the ball's kind of a mess because I don't even know what happened to it, but it's really pretty.
Yeah.
And the finished Legwarmer is very pretty as well. I really like it. And this is not blocked or anything like that. So I'm just excited to finish something that's been kind of hanging out for a very, very long time, almost a year. And I'm using my cute little holder from Pea in the Pots, my Harry Potter cutie holder. But yeah, so I just decided to pick that up. I told Gal, I texted her and told her I picked them back up. And I don't even think she remembered that I was doing these because you thought I was
thinking
of something else.
Something else.
And she's like, wait, so you're not talking about these? And I was like, oh no, remember those Legwarmers I started forever ago? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that and I probably talked about this before, but I had to do a tubular cast on. Have you done a tubular cast on? Yeah. So, and you know, of course I did it with the first one. And I remember having a bit of trouble with it, but who knows, but why I had trouble with it at first, but this second go around, it was super easy and no problem at all. It helps
when you have those straight needles, and have a longer straight needle. I can't do it if it's on a circular needle. Mm-hmm. I have to have a straight needle to do it.
Yeah. And that's the tutorial I watched because I needed a refresher, even though I had done it previously. It had been so long ago, I could not remember at all how to do it. And basically you start on a straight needle, and then after you've done, it's several steps, but after you're done with all of those steps, you can then transfer it to your circular or your double pointed, and then you'll just have to kind of
join it in around a bit.
You'll have to, at the very beginning couple rounds, you'll have to stitch it up.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, because I did watch some things where they were like, well, at this point you can start doing it in the round. It's, you just have to be really careful, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'll just stitch it up a couple rows and it'll be fine if it's easier to do it this way. So yeah, I started on a straight and then did it in the round.
Yeah. So speaking of stitching up a couple rows, I remember what I had foreshadowed earlier and forgot to mention in talking about the long weekend cardigan. Mm-hmm. Tools that you need that you don't have that you should have. Mm-hmm. So when we were at one of my acquisitions when we were at the yarn store the other day was the Hiya Sharps. What are those called? Tapestry needles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I did not have one of those. I was just working off of a straight kind of blended tapestry needle. Made all the difference in the world in my seaming having that crook tapestry needle. Yeah. All the difference in the world. So if you don't have one and you find yourself seaming, those are definitely worth a buy. I mean, I think it was like $3 at the local yarn store for 3 instead of 3.
I don't even know if it was $3.
It may not have been. It may
have been because we both bought some.
Yeah. It was not very expensive at all.
Totally like using a straight one is fine if you're just weaving in your ends, but I can see, because I had both, I had straight ones and then I had big plastic dumb.
Yeah.
One, like I was doing my finger like this, but
they've got the huge eye on the back. Yeah, you can't fit them through your
yeah. So I went ahead and bought some too, that were smaller that you could use, and so like the straight ones are fine for just weaving in ends, but I can see how the ones that are kind of I don't know why I keep doing this. I keep doing this with my finger, like that's the shape because I can bend my finger that way. I don't know.
Weirdo.
I know. I can do weird things with my finger. My nephews call it witch fingers. I don't know, because they kind of clink and clack. Anyway. Tangent. Okay, so whose turn is it? I have two more whips.
So I just have the one. It is the Shusui Shrug by Susanne Sommer. I did work on this just a little bit over the last little bit. As you can see, this is where I was. This is where I am. The rows are starting to get longer and longer, so it does take a long time to get through a row. Mm-hmm. So there are not many rows that are done in this, but I have worked some on it. So we'll eventually get there. This is now my new big project, but I'm enjoying. I enjoy working on it. It's very intuitive. The pattern is very intuitive, but. Yep. So we're in the shoulder increases right now. And the yarn that I'm working with is by Leon Alexander Yarns. It's in his sock base, which I can't remember what his sock base is. I'm so sorry. Logan. But it is in Pink Lady and Parisian Jardin. Mm-hmm. I think I actually said that somewhat correctly this time.
Sounds like it.
So, anyway.
The next whip I've shown before, but I kind of put it a way to do, like, I was in a very, like, let's finish the things mood. But I have been working, I stopped in the middle of the row, which is annoying, but A Best Friend by Isabell Kraemer. Girl's Best Friend.
Girl's Best Friend. Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't gotten too far. It's been a while since I like showed it because I didn't actively work on it for a while, but I am actively working on it now. But I haven't, it doesn't look that much different from the last time I showed it. I'm still in this, I call it popcorn section, but I don't know, that's just because what it looks like to me. So yeah, it's so pretty. I
do love it.
I just put it away to like finish these little projects that I was working on. And I know this is going to take a bit. And so it's like, you know, when you get close to finishing something, you're like, okay, I'm just going to focus on this. I know I still have a bit to go. So I'm not at that point where I'm like, I'm just going to focus on this because I know I still have a ways to go.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot faster once I get through this section that I'm actually working on. Because this is the section that there's a couple of rows to this section that do take a while to do. But then after I get done with this, I think it'll go a lot faster. But I really like it. I think it's really pretty. I've said it before. Like I said, it doesn't look that much different from when I showed it last time, but it's really pretty. And, I'll do, after this section, I'll do, I think there's a little tiny, like I think 2 rows of this purple. And then I won't do this speckled again, because that'll be the end. And then I'll get a big section of green, which I'm really looking forward to doing that big section of green. So,
I think you're going to enjoy working on that again.
You
just lost.
Oh no! My hanger came off. Or not my hanger, my holder.
Your stopper.
There.
There you go.
That's easy enough. Is it? There it is. All right. Because I actually had this, I wasn't putting these little stoppers on my needles. I was just kind of doing this number.
That's what I do.
And then when I hadn't worked on it in a long time, and then I took it out and stitches had fallen, I basically got them on right. But in the end, you're not going to be able to tell. At all. I wasn't that stressed. As long as my stitch count was right, that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to be able to tell at all. I don't even think I can find it at this point where I might have messed up. So, but yeah, I like it. And I'd really like to have it done for fall so I can wear it like at Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and this is the green. It didn't really show up in the shawl itself, but this is the green that I'm really excited to use. I've only gotten to do little stripes of it so far. And this is Suburban Stitcher in the Ballard colorway. It's sock yarn.
It's
or
really
fingering.
pretty.
So I'm really excited to get to a big section of that. And I will say that this purple, I don't know what this is in it. Who knows? This purple is one of this is by Round Table Yarns. Is that what it is? Round Table Yarns? That I got in DFW Fiberfest. This is one of my favorite yarns I've ever worked with.
Oh, nice.
I just think it worked out so beautifully. It just knit up so pretty. I don't know. It was just so nice to work with.
Yeah. I like the
yeah, it's just the
halo
stitch
that it has.
Yeah, it's just so nice. And I believe this, do I still have my tags? I think I still have my tags in here, and I can tell you for sure I do still have my tags. So, oh no, it's the 100 Ravens. It's the 100 Ravens yarn. And it is 70% merino and 20% yak.
Oh.
And 10% nylon. And
it's on their yaksha base.
Yeah, it's the yaksha base. And it was really nice to work with, and I think it looks really pretty. So anyway, yeah. So that's my whip that I'm looking forward to doing more on. Hopefully I'll have more to show you the next time. Do you have any more whips? I have one more.
I don't think I do.
Well, this kind of goes into acquisitions that kind of worked out well, because the other whip I have is a yarn that was new to, doesn't matter. I dropped a little ball of something. This is the yarn that Gal and I both got, the Malabrigo sock yarn in Primavera. It's very pretty. And I started knitting my fall socks. So
there's oranges and
it's
greens
really pretty.
Just some more of those neutral fall colors.
Yeah, it's like a fall rainbow.
Yep.
So this is my first one. I actually met up with some people last week and had tea and went ahead and I needed something that I didn't need a pattern for and I could just work on without having to, if I messed up, it was easily fixable. Yeah, so we both bought this colorway and we went to a yarn store together and we both kind of wanted fall socks and we both liked this color. Mm-hmm. And it's like I said, Malabrigo sock in Primavera. And so yeah, I started this and I'm hoping to have them both done by the end of this month.
Ooh, get after it, sister.
I know I only have 2 weeks. That's probably not going to happen. But if they're just done by Thanksgiving, I'll feel good about that.
Yeah.
Because I do want to cast on, after Thanksgiving, I want to cast on Christmas socks. And I've already been looking at yarn. And Gal had to tell me to...
I had to bring her off of the...
I was like, I should not drunk purchase Christmas sock yarn, right? And she's like, no, think about your budget. I was like, you are right. I need to think about my budget and not think about yarn that I don't even have needles to cast on anything because I intentionally only have 1 pair of sock yarn needles, sock needles, because I don't want to be able to cast on 2 pairs of socks at one time. So I wouldn't even be able to cast anything on if I bought the yarn until I'm done with the ones I'm currently working on. So
it's a different place for me to be a friend that's not an enabler and to be a budget enabler.
Well, we're both sorry, I'm trying to pick up this thing. Oh, I should mention, now that I'm holding this yarn and talking about these socks, I initially was going to do a contrast cuff because I kind of like that. And so I was going to use like this brown from Canon Dye Works. Mm-hmm. And so I did, actually. I think I have a weird little cuff in here. There you go. See? I have a weird little cuff that I was going to use.
Sure enough.
But I did the cuff and then I introduced this yarn to it and I knit a few rows and it was looking very masculine. Very kind of old manish.
I can see that.
And my thought was like, oh, it'd be like brown, like a tree trunk or branches, and then these would be like the leaves and so pretty. It was looking like an old man sock.
You might do it for the heel and see if you like the heel.
Yeah. So I was really not feeling it at all. And I was like, I'm not going to keep knitting this because I'm not going to like it. And,
yeah,
you need to like what you're working on.
For sure.
So I just started over and did, just the variegated yarn with, and not doing a contrast cuff. So yeah, maybe I'll try with the heel and see, but I was like, oh man, this is looking like an old man sock. Like I could see it sticking out of a trouser of some guy. So I was like, no, this is not what I was going for. This is not the beautiful like autumn tree that I was wanting. So got an ant. Had an ant on me.
Don't worry, I got it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's my last, that is acquisition. That's the only acquisition I have, actually.
And I kind of talked about my acquisitions throughout, so you know what I have. Some needles and some yarn. And
you have your terracotta?
I have the terracotta, the Malabrigo sock yarn and the terracotta, which is basically orange. I was looking at doing the Skeindeers, and this will kind of segue into...
Q.
Thank you. the Skeindeer Pumpkin Spice Latte mittens. I don't know if that's the actual name of them. I'll put it somewhere around here. But I was thinking about doing some of that. It will probably have to wait until next year because I just have too many things. I have 2 things that I'm working on. But
there's so much stuff that okay, first of all, if you did the pumpkin spice, you would probably want to start them pretty quick.
Exactly.
And then you have a lot of other stuff.
I have the fall socks I'm wanting to do. I'm having, So that will probably be something for later on next year that I'll do. Because I haven't really done color work yet. And it is a color work pattern. I think I want to get some color work elsewhere under my belt before I attempt those mittens. Yeah. Oh, that's the other. I have a half object. I finished the Moonstone Mittens, one of the Moonstone Mittens, and I am working on the other Moonstone Mitten by Woolfield Studio. Yep. So.
You have a hoe.
I have a hoe. I do have a hoe.
So, I guess that moves us on into Q.
Q.
I only have one thing in my queue.
What's in your queue?
I want to do Hollows by Melody Hoffman. And I have to reach over and get my bag. And put it on the bed with the rest of the stuff. I already wound one skein. So I'm going to use Naked Robert by Canon Dye Works. This is just undyed tweed. And this is it in the skein. Here's it wound. I only wound one. But it is, of course, we'll have a picture. But I was really liking the idea of having like a winter white or off-white shawl or wrap or something like that of some sort. Because I think I will actually get a lot of wear out of that this winter. So I'm going to do that, and it's really pretty, and I have not cast it on, but I do have the needles, I bought the pattern, and I have the yarn. I just haven't cast it on yet. Nice. So, but that's really the only thing in my queue, except this is something we've both kind of been
I was about to say,
talking about.
I think it's in both our queues, and I'd forgotten until just a second ago.
Yeah. Nurtured.
Nurtured by Andrea and Mowry.
Both of us really, really like that pattern, but both of us are very unsure of how it would look on us.
Yes. So...
But we're both very, very interested in it. I think we both think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're both
fearful of the crop.
Yes.
We're fearful of the crop.
That is neither of that is not us.
I don't have the body for a crop, but I do have summer dresses that I think I can
wear
under it.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah. Wear it over.
Wear it over.
And that's how I think I would wear it, because I don't I don't currently own any high-waisted pants of any sort. I kind of just do like the belly button jeans and pants. And I'm not going to buy any pants because I don't need any.
Yeah.
So the cropped without something under it just would not work for me, because I'm not going to show my tummy to anybody. But a lot of the project pictures show kind of a more flowy shirt or tunic worn under the Nurture. And I do have that. That is part of my style that I do wear a lot. So, I'm just kind of nervous about. I think we both are. We both really like the idea, and I think we both think we could work it into our wardrobe, but it's just something neither of us have really gone into that it makes us a little nervous. So we're both kind of toying with the idea of doing it, but we're like, okay, do we just use
the art yarn from?
Yeah, like do we kind of use like not a natural fiber and kind of see if it would even work for us?
Yeah, that's what I'm planning on.
And then if we really like it, then we can maybe knit it out of a natural fiber, from a wool. I almost bought yarn for it a couple weeks ago, and then I didn't. Yeah. Like, I texted her, and I was like, I think I'm going to go to the yarn store and get some, like, nice. I was going to do Brooklyn tweed, I think. And then I was like, no, I chickened out. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so, Yeah, we're both kind of toying with that idea because we both really like the idea of it. I just don't know. I've not worn anything like that before. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. We might do the knit muslin like I was talking about before and see if we even like it and then go from there.
Yep.
So those are the things in my queue. I have one definitely that I am going to cast on because I have all the stuff for it and I'm ready to go. And then that one is still just kind of in my mind, like, hey, don't forget.
I think I'm going to cast on a girl's best friend when I get done with this purchase.
Because you already you dyed the yarn.
I dyed the yarn for that. Mm-hmm. Yep, I've got the yarn ready to go for that. So
it's so good.
I know. I want to do it. Mm-hmm. So I think that will probably be in my near future. I want to get this kerchief done first and then I'll cast it on. But
yeah. Well, that's part of the reason I didn't do the hollow shawl yet is because I needed my needles that I did for the close to you. It needed the same size and I only have like one set.
I bought needles.
Did you?
I bought needles when we were.
I still only have one set. So.
When we were at the yarn store the other day, the needles that I purchased, go to my needle set. So my size 4s are currently on my Shusui Shrug, and I know that's going to be a while. Yeah. And the girl's best friend calls for a size 4 needle as well, and so that's why I went ahead and purchased because I want to get started on that. But I need the cable off of my kerchief before I can get it going. Yeah, because I needed a size 6 for the close to you, and then I need a size 6 for hollow. So I was like, okay, well, I got that done. Now I can actually cast on, but I don't know if I want to cast it on just yet because I'm afraid I will put a girl's best friend to the side again. Sure. To do this, and I really don't want to push it aside, you know? No. So I really do want to get it done because it is going to be a very big shawl and a very warm shawl, and I need it for this winter and fall. Like it needs to be done so that I can really get use and wear out of it. So I don't want to push it aside too much. So we'll see what I do. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see next time. Yep. And I already talked about my acquisitions. I only got that one sock yarn. Yeah. That's it. So with that, thank you so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate you guys coming back. For those of you that are new, if you liked us, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to us. We would love to see you back again. And share us with your friends. Let them know that we're around. We'd really greatly appreciate it. You know, any views that we get makes us feel really great. Yes. And please comment and talk to us on Instagram or wherever you prefer because we love it. I love talking to fellow knitters. Everybody is super sweet and super cool. Such a warm community. It really is. And we love it. So we love hearing from you and talking to you. And we hope you have a good couple of weeks. And I don't know. We should be back before Thanksgiving, but if we aren't, happy Thanksgiving. Exactly. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We've missed you guys, but happy Canadian Thanksgiving. And we will see you next time. Happy knitting. Happy knitting. Bye. Bye.